Every empire has an origin story, and this one starts in a Harvard dorm room with a kid and a laptop. In just a few years, Mark Zuckerberg went from a college dropout to the architect of a digital revolution, reshaping how we communicate, how we consume information, even how we think. But power at that scale doesn't come without consequences. With every new feature, every bold expansion, Facebook wasn't just connecting people, it was rewiring society itself. Governments took notice, so did corporations, and so did those looking to exploit the system. Born in 1984 in White Plains, New York, Mark Elliott Zuckerberg wasn't just a curious child. He was a machine built for the digital age. While others played outside, he built worlds inside a screen. By middle school, he was crafting his own games, designing software, learning how to control information. But Mark wasn't satisfied with building. He wanted to dominate. In high school, he created Synapse, an AI-powered music player so advanced that Microsoft and AOL tried to buy it. He refused their offers because he wasn't looking for a job. He was looking for something bigger. At Harvard, Zuckerberg's ambition grew sharper. His first creation, FaceMash, was a crude experiment in power, letting students rank each other's appearances like digital livestock. It spread like wildfire. Then, just as quickly, it was extinguished. During his grilling before Congress over the Cambridge Analytica scandal, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg admitted to creating FaceMash, a website he made in college to rank women based on their looks.
One question I'd like to ask before I go into my questioning is, what was FaceMash and is it still up and running?
No, Congressman. FaceMash was a prank website that I launched in college, in my dorm room, before I started Facebook.
But the fire had been lit, and what came next would consume the world. In 2005, Facebook secured $12.7 million in funding. In 2006, the gates were opened to the public. By 2008, it was a global obsession. What had started as a small network for Harvard elites was now a digital kingdom where everyone's life was on display.
What is the Facebook exactly?
It's an online directory that connects people through universities and colleges through their social networks there. You sign on, you make a profile about yourself by answering some questions, entering some information such as your concentration or major at school, contact information about phone numbers, instant messaging screen names, anything you want to tell, interests, what books you like, movies, and most importantly, who your friends are. And then you can browse around and see who people's friends are and just check out people's online identities and see how people portray themselves and just find some interesting information about people.
Like every kingdom, it had a ruler. Zuckerberg held absolute control. He dictated what you saw, what you read, what you believed, and with that control came something far darker than even he could have imagined.
All right, you may have seen it in your newsfeed today. Facebook has started alerting users whose data was harvested by this group we now know about named Cambridge Analytica. All this as the CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is testifying about the privacy scandal. He's really getting a grilling before Congress. What do we know about what has been accessed about Facebook users?
Well, and that's one of the nice things about Facebook. While they do collect a lot of your information and data, there's not like really private security information like social security numbers and, for the most part, credit card numbers and things like that. What they're really collecting is data about the way that you behave and your interests and the way that you make decisions. So that's really some of the things that you need to be concerned about is what kind of information you've put out there about yourself. And that's kind of one of the scary things about it, is that there are groups and organizations that are collecting this kind of data to influence you according to their agendas.
The cracks began to show. What was once a utopia of connection had become something more sinister, a machine designed to harvest data, to predict behavior, to manipulate.
When you sign up for Facebook, you sign up for terms of service. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. It says, the terms govern your use of Facebook and the products, features, apps, services, technology, software we offer. Facebook's products are products, except where we expressly state that separate terms and not these apply. I'm a lawyer, I have no idea what that means. But when you look at terms of service, this is what you get. Do you think the average consumer understands what they're signing up for?
I don't think that the average person likely reads that whole document. But I think that there are different ways that we can communicate that and have a responsibility to do so.
Do you agree with me that you better come up with different ways because this ain't working?
Well, Senator, I think in certain areas that is true, and I think in other areas, like the core part of what we do. But if you think about just at the most basic level, people come to Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger about 100 billion times a day to share a piece of content or a message with a specific set of people. And I think that that basic functionality, people understand because we have the controls in line every time. And given the volume of the activity and the value that people tell us that they're getting from that, I think that that control in line does seem to be working fairly well. Now, we can always do better, and there are other services are complex, and there is more to it than just you go and you post a photo. So I agree that in many places we can do better. But I think for the core of the service, it actually is quite clear.
In 2021, Zuckerberg made his most ambitious move yet. He rebranded Facebook to Meta, promising a new digital reality, a world beyond screens, a place where he wouldn't just control the platform, he would control the very fabric of reality itself.
Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually, it has things that are only possible virtually, and it has an incredibly inspiring view of whatever you find most beautiful. Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Mark. What's up, Mark?
Whoa, we're floating in space? Who made this place? It's awesome.
Right? It's from a crater I met in LA.
This place is amazing.
Boz, is that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot. All right, so that's a glimpse of a few ways that we're going to be able to get together and socialize in the metaverse.
But was this a glimpse of the future, or the last desperate move of a ruler watching his empire crumble? So what will history say about Mark Zuckerberg? Is he a genius who connected the world, or an architect of chaos, a visionary, or a villain? If you made it this far, thank you for watching. This channel dives deep into the people and platforms shaping our digital world. So if that interests you, consider subscribing. Your support helps tell stories that matter. Drop a comment below. What do you think Zuckerberg's legacy will be? Visionary or villain?